Hey guys, it's Cozy. Welcome back to the now 9th episode of this challenge that takes a lot longer than I expected, to be honest. In the last episode we finished our 4th week of dungeons while whipping out an absolute tearjerker in our Galakrond's Fall story that people will talk about for ages. And brace yourself, cause if you watch that, you can proudly say, I was there. With a pretty decently stacked vault, an overall score of 2702, 47 dungeons done and an item level of 476, we are ready to yeet ourselves towards week 5. And we got the mentioned vault hope. But to be honest, after everything we've gotten, can that even be good at this point? Today, we will also witness what it's like on the other side of possibilities while power farming score towards the 3k mark. After all, we did time like 3 dungeons out of 7 in the last episode, so we really need to step up our game if we want to get through this before the launch of 11.0. But a new week not only means new joy, fun, adventures, and new friends to be made, it most importantly means we are done with bursting. So with all that out of the way, let's start our 5th week of Mythic Plus on our 0 to 3k journey. First things first, we go ahead and open the vault right away, since there's no weekly quest that has any use to us. After receiving 2 out of 3 major BIS items from this thing already, the only thing we could get that are the more or less bigger upgrades are tier set items, just because they give the most stats. Reckon in the coming weeks I will start to roll for tanks on my loot if there's anything big to gain from it. So besides that one random raid item we don't really need, we gotten ourselves the back piece that we already have, the necklace that we gave away last episode, and shoulders. I simped it just to make sure, but I quickly got the clear result that the shoulders are the only option here. So we grab them and convert them into tier. While doing that, I kept applying for Firak kills in order to potentially snipe the tank trinket again. But since I wasn't juiced enough for heroic, I went with normal, though I forgot to record that, didn't drop, so nothing lost. Then I got scammed by LFR. Since I decided to also go for that version of the trinket, I waited about 20 minutes in queue, got invited, got blocked from joining cause they were in fight, and then they killed Firak while I got locked to the dungeon and wasn't even able to loot him. Unlucky. So we go right ahead to the fun stuff instead. New week, new affixes, and this week is hella fun. At least for us. We got fortified, which means more HP on trash, which means more slaps, more yeets, and more possibilities for us to make sure to top the shots. Spiteful joins this week too. This one lets little ankle nibbling ghosts spawn that we either chase DPS or heals to send them flying with the one-way ticket to Narnia. For real, they hurt. And Volcanic is also there. In 99% of the case, for us non-existent. So we move. Everbloom 22 was the key we gotten from our vault, and you know me, I was hyped for that puppy. Having mixed feelings coming from a well-timed key and an abomination of another, this could go either way. But first, this once again is the build I'm running for this week. It's pretty much the same build as on Tyrannical last week, and I put the import thingy in the comments, for real this time. Now in this run I quickly found out that people are not here to mess around. No small pulls happened, but what made me believe was the way the trash got handled. Barely anything got through, and to top it off, on the first boss we just added those extra 10 flowers on top. Just because, why not? Resulting in some big damage all across the board. Though with all those ghosts spawning, I really appreciated the range Feral's have, as well as the movement speed to just run circles around packs. On the second boss I tried a new strat. Instead of nuking the first target, I went with just ensuring a solid rip was running on all targets at all time, which mainly was because I had no cooldowns ready regardless. But reckon the damage looks fine for that, even ending on the top spot. Hashtag improvement. But there's one pack that could break the key pretty quickly. Those 3 mages in front of the Archmage hurt like hell on Fortified. So use everything you have to blast the Pyromancer as quick as you can. Around 11 minutes to go for only 2 bosses on Fortified, that looks good so far. And what can I tell you, besides those 1 or 2 random deaths that happened, I felt like this was an overall pretty clean run. 13 score to our name, beating a Demolog in damage, what else could I ask for? Timing this one will bring us back to our one and only friend, Galakrond's 23, and boy was I ready to keep this on that level. And fortunately people just really love this one, cause it took me around 10 minutes to gather a group. And to be transparent for a moment here, that's usually not the case for those key levels. I got ones where I spent 30 to 40 minutes trying to find a tank or a healer, so I will take this blessing without asking twice. So here we almost made it happen to peak at a million DPS, just shortly over 900k, but I was happy with that for sure. A lot more than what I pulled on my survival hunter so far. And the first boss was of course no issue, since we pulled it pretty much on its own. This does take a longer time, but it's also safer for us. So now comes the part that I'm dreading about. Easily the most annoying bit of this dungeon, especially on Fortified. We go into it with 0 deaths, and got out of it with 9. Yeah, so you can guess what happened. Second boss also went smooth, besides me whipping out a juicy slow ring, because I had the brain fart so loud my neighbor was knocking. Well, no one important died. Now needless to say, I felt good about this one so far. So much time to still finish this proper, and even the possibility to maybe even 2-chest this one. I also really enjoyed that the tank pulled smart instead of just over-pulling, just because. Those dragons do so much damage, so it's a very good thing to just have one of them up at the same time, and then maybe chain them into each other once the first one is about to die. Top G this tank. Now we decided to last the second part of the third boss in order to possibly just get one wind cast, which worked out pretty well. The rest of this is child's play. Don't stand in breath, and if you're a druid like me, just shapeshift out of the root in an instant. We skipped the final pack with still 5 minutes for a newsworthy ending to this key. Also, 2 CRs on the board, baby. And on neither of those 2 earth searches we messed up, leading us to pretty much end this fight in just about 3 minutes for an easy 2-chest and plus 20 rating to our name. That was fun. If things work out, this is hilariously fun. Now, this also means that now we are considered done with Galakrons when it comes to the score itself. We need 375 rating on every dungeon in order to get to 3k, and we just slipped over that mark. Lovely. The band asked for one more, so all of us agreed, even though it was already after 2 AM. But this score doesn't come from nothing. We interrupt this program to quickly squeeze in a shameless self-plug. If you, by any chance, enjoy this video, you can show it to me by leaving a like or, and you can call me crazy for this suggestion, subscribe to the channel. Either of these is free and it would make this angry German a lot happier. Also, how about we make it a little goal? If we get to 3k subscribers before reaching 3k rating on the Druid, we will have a live stream or 2 in which we are probably doing some keys or even a raid if there's enough people for it. So, if you're interested in that, ferocious bite the subscribe button and make it happen. Back to the video. So, 23 Everbloom it is. This was the Hunter's key, mind you, and after just timing the 22 Everbloom earlier, what can go wrong? And just like on the other run, Barkboy got his cheeks clapped. Also, I just saw that one while rewatching the footage. Don't make the weak aura alerts over the party frame. I will realize those at some point and adjust the frames for it. I know I got myself some raging interface mains in the comments. There we go. Second boss, I went on to do my dot them all routine again, which doesn't look like much compared to those two, but still was fine considering I didn't have Convoke on pull. Managed to sneak up on the meters in the end though. At this point I feel like I'm really getting a hang of it. Part of that is also because I don't have as much respect or fear when it comes to bosses on Fortified, so I probably just play it more freely. Now I do have respect for those 3 mobs now, cause like I mentioned earlier, they clapped cheeks. What made this even worse is that our hunter died on the very first spell, not using any heal depth to minimize the damage taken, which led to us having no range anymore, so naturally, Arcane Orb into melee. Now in the replay, I obviously know what I could have done differently here. Watch the timer and bait the Arcane Orb out. Probably would have saved the pull in the end, but I didn't pay attention to it while actually playing. Now, I'm not gonna say this was my fault, but nonetheless, this could have been avoided. But not only did we wipe once, we wiped twice. Rough timer for those 2 bosses for sure. Overall, this entire part of the Archmage took too long, unfortunately leaving no room to time this, and for some reason our hunter here got way too horny and instantly went through the portal, not waiting for everyone else, which led to this. I reckon the tank was also upset about that, because he didn't have much time to proper position the boss before the first smash. We do have CRs left though, so we were able to finish this bastard first try too. No score, no items, but a lot of experience. I will remember those 3. From the Galakrons earlier I received a juiced up plus 25, but I chickened out. I tuned it to 23 though, and Murozon's Rise was the key to be. This one has it a bit different compared to the other wing of the Dawn of the Infinite. Here, the annoying trash is in the beginning. So only 6 deaths doesn't seem too bad, considering they pretty much just happened from a bad pull. And while Tyr got his crusty old ass kick, the trash pack after was more of a pain to play. Those drakes hurt like hell. What also hurts are the ads on the time lost battlefield even on Fortified, so make sure you blast the archers and kick the casters. And, well, don't stand in the Bladestorm. On our way to Morchi, we technically could have skipped the trash with Mind Suit of the Priest, and I assumed that was the plan considering the trash count. But turns out, no. Morchi is just not that difficult anymore, but what really helps is a tank that moved the boss in a very smart way. He ensured that we are all between those traps for when the mirrors started to walk again. Very smart thing for sure, and I will remember that. About 5 minutes to go on the final boss, this should be doable. And ever since we cured our dirt map addiction on Deus, we have been flying through this bad boy. Pretty solid timed run, and I have nothing but nice words for my group so far. Every time I was fortunate enough to play with people that knew what they were doing, and in another shameless attempt to stroke my own ego, I felt like I became a lot better too. Well, gameplay wise, not necessarily damage wise of course. Though unfortunately, Blizzard tried to play with me here. Cause not only did I get the Murozons from the Galakronski earlier, now I got another Galakronski. But since I much rather wanted something else, I decided to lower to 21 in order to just quickly finish this puppy to move on. And it pretty much went as expected. 2 chests, no biggie, but now we have ourselves a new key. And we didn't see this one in a while. Darker Ticket on 23. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect on this one, since it has been 2 weeks or so till I actually did one. And this one didn't necessarily went as clean as it should have. First, we pulled this extra bear here because the paladin's shield was bouncing to it, and then this dumbass druid body pulled the pack while everybody else already passed him.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
Alright, if you by chance remember that monk's name, that is the one we did the Galakrons Fall 23 as well as the Everblooms 23 earlier. But this recording was a day later, so I guess he's grinding too. Besides those 1 or 2 mishaps though, this went rather eventless. I also got reminded the hard way that it's in fact not the Stonefall that does the big damage on the third boss, it's the shout itself. So make sure you're on full HP before it happens, otherwise you will end up like me. And with 4 minutes 30 to kill Savius, this was still a very doable thing. Timing this one also grants us a massive amount of rating, 52 to be exact, which sends us flying over the 2800 mark. Again, so far I was very happy with what parties I ended up this week. Nothing but nice peeps, but then again, almost everything worked out for some reason. But after this run I decided to get a little change of pace, and I attempted yet another heroic raid, mainly to quickly grab some Worms quests so I can upgrade my gear further. Now this is pretty much the end of the video, but I will just quickly take the moment to announce a few minor things for the future. The next video will come on Monday, because I want to just power farm score for the rest of this ID and the next one, and I probably won't have time to make one for Silent Day too. The second thing is that you have voted and that we will in fact again dust off the wheel in order to decide our future 0 to Hero challenge. Like I said in the beginning of the series, 0 to 3k will not be the new baseline for this series, since I rather mix things up more often. Also on that topic, I will most likely not include Mistweaver Monk on the wheel, since that's the one I played last season and it seems to be pretty busted at the moment. So I'm pretty sure you will understand. But hey, if you really want to see it, let me know in the comments and I maybe give it a slot on the wheel too. Nothing set in stone yet. So this raid gave me nothing, granted I only needed either Ashes on Heroic or Firak's tank trinket anyways, even though I'm still not sure if I would have sniped that away from the tanks on Heroic. But with that, we end our 9th episode of this 0 to 3k challenge. After upgrading legs, chest and head, we got into a juiced up 479 item level and our score went up to 2800. And as always, I wish you the most fantastic day whenever you see this. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Take care.